we're doing something very special. I've got some guests with me, and we're going to be doing something outside of the normal because we have a panel of guests that are going to talk about something that I fell in love with. We're going to be talking about the game Race Jam, available now on Steam. If it's a game you want to check out, definitely check out the pinned comment up at the top. DiffGames is here with us, and I also have a co-host. Without further ado, we're going to head over to the panel, and we're going to get this discussion going. Welcome down to the Mac Cave. Very happy to have you guys here. Well, everybody here in chat tonight, you guys know our co-host here, Scotty Hawk, the man, the myth, the legend. But the people you don't know yet are right above me here, and these are the people that brought us a game that I'm having an absolute blast with. I personally love racing games, especially arcade-style racing games. And when this game practically fell into my lap, I was like, this is awesome, and I just want this thing to be incredible. So tonight, we're going to talk with the team that brought us Race Jam, and we're going to get to know these guys. We're going to get a little behind-the-scenes info of how this game came about, and hopefully by the end of this, you're all downloading Race Jam on Steam. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and kind of let us know, what your role is with DiffGames, and then we'll jump into a bit of Q&A.
I'll go first. Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm the director of Race Jam and the CEO of DiffGames.
I'm Danny. I'm the art director and UI and UX designer for Race Jam.
Hey everyone, my name's Joe. I'm one of the programmers for Race Jam along with Jeff, and also one of the level designers.
Well, I'm really happy to have you guys here. To kind of give everybody a little bit of, I guess, the lore. We all know Scotty loves lore, everybody. So, we want to get a little bit of the backstory. Oh, yes. This is something that I think it's really special to see a game like this come out, especially now, something that brings back that nostalgic feeling, and I feel like it's a great time for it because I feel like the feel of retro gaming is making a big comeback right now. So when you do that in the world of racing, I think that's an incredible thing. You guys had kind of reached out, doing a bit of marketing and everything, and like I was kind of saying before, I feel like the game kind of fell into my lap, and you guys gave me the opportunity to try this out, and I go with my gut on things, and I'm like, that seems really cool. This is pretty awesome. Let me check it out. Almost immediately, you guys were so open to feedback and kind of communicating back and forth about it. We've had some, behind the scenes, discussions about little things with the game and, things that might need adjustments or maybe things that are maybe coming in the future with it. I just thought that was so cool that you guys were really open about that. One of the big things that really hooked me on it was that even though it's in early access right now, it already felt very polished. It felt right. Like the controls were the first thing that I was just like, this thing is working. Like I've played a lot of early development games and it's like, this is very broken and I'm not sure what I'm doing. And I just felt very comfortable with it right away. So that was the big thing that hooked me. And once I'm good with the gameplay and something, I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let me just take this to the finish line.
I wish I actually got a chance to play more of it, but I played for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours straight, like didn't put the controller down. I will say I did attempt to play with my keyboard. I would like someone to possibly show me how I can make that work. Because I am a old like GTA RP guy, so racing, like, I've been doing it on without the controller for a while. I'd be interested in helping test some of that. But right away I got Cruising USA vibes, and the like Mario Kart kid in me was drifting like crazy, and maybe I recorded some video that I can show you of me trying to abuse the drift a little bit. I think that'd be kind of funny for you guys to see. But even the cars that felt like they didn't feel heavy, you know, sometimes I'm drifting and like the weight of the car felt good. Like I'm impressed with the overall race loop, I would say. Felt good.
That's awesome. Thank you both for saying all those kind words.
The feel is right. The feel is definitely there, and I can already tell with the patches you guys have been doing, it's already refining it. And you know, I'm so happy that I got to try it out in the early stage that it was, and already experiencing the updates, the changes that are coming to it. So a very, very cool experience. I really, really enjoy it. Something I like to ask, and whenever I have like, especially, you know, people I'm just meeting and we have them on the panel, there's a main question I always ask everybody, and it's not specifically about the game, but really more about yourselves, is where did your gaming journey begin? Is this something from childhood, or did it happen later in life? Like what got you into the world of video games?
So for me, it was I had an N64. I got an N64. Got Super Mario 64 with it, and just played that nonstop. Yep, yep. It's like the best controller, and yet everyone tells me it's the worst controller. But because
I got a love-hate relationship with this thing.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, it was the N64. That's what got me into it, and playing Mario 64 all the way through. I remember as a kid, I came home. No, I didn't come home. My dad came home from work one day, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, I got like 5 stars today or something." And both my parents were like, "Oh, he must have done something good in school." Nope, I got 5 stars on like Bomb on Battlefield, and that's what I was excited to tell him about. So that was my start.
I love that. And I'll say, before we jump over to the next person, I'll tell you, there's something about this controller. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with this, but to this day, I cannot play Ocarina of Time without this. So I've tried other controllers, and I'm like, nope, it ain't right.
I've been a gamer since childhood, and my first console was definitely the N64 as well. And my first game was the Ocarina of Time as well. And I've just been a gamer ever since. I love gaming so much. And I love the Ocarina of Time so much that I got it, like I put it on my Steam Deck. By my cat.
All good.
Serious.
Hey.
And I got on my Steam Deck, and I had such a hard time too with just like, oh my, but no, this is not how it's supposed to be. Like, no, oh my God. But yeah, since childhood.
Nice.
And I'm still an avid gamer. Yeah.
There we go. 2 starts on the N64. I love it. Are we going for the hat trick here? Where did you start, Joe?
No, a lot less traditional, I think. I grew up with first of all, a PC was the first thing I remember. My dad playing things like Unreal Tournament, StarCraft. And then when I was in 2nd grade, I had straight A's 2nd grade. I was a great kid. And my parents were like, well, we'll get him an Xbox. And so that was where I really started to play video games. And it was I lived in Mexico at the time, and my dad was working in the United States. He'd come down every weekend, and every weekend he'd bring either a movie or a new game. So very quickly got acquainted to, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 was one of the earliest games I remember playing. Things like the Spider-Man game based off the first Tobey Maguire movie. That was the first game I ever completed, was that one. Star Wars, the OG Star Wars Battlefronts and Lord of the Rings Conquest, stuff like that. Just bunches and bunches of awesome games.
Thank you for showing some love to Lord of the Rings Conquest. No one ever talks about that game.
It deserves a remake. It really does.
It really does. It really does.
Actually, not to tangent off, but I heard there's a game in development with Lord of the Rings 3rd person trying to compete with Hogwarts Legacy.
Ooh.
I'm like, yes, please, now, today.
Whatever they can do to make up for that Gollum game.
I can't remember the team, but yeah. Oh, the Gollum game.
Can you guys
gave up
remake
on the
that?
Gollum game. They didn't even patch and finish everything in the Gollum game.
Let's dive into a little bit of the meat and potatoes of why we're here. And I'll go with this question here is how did you get into video game development? Like what was the backstory with that for you guys? We'll dive into some more lore.
So I guess for me, I started college. I went to Brockport. Scotty, I don't know if you're familiar with Brockport.
Oh yeah.
I went to Brockport. I was going to be I was a history major. My parents, I was kind of like wishy-washy about like what exactly major I picked. So my parents were like, "Well, your family are educators. You should go to be a teacher." And I was like, I definitely don't want to be a teacher. But that's where I started out as. So I was doing these history classes, and I do like history, so that was like it was okay. But the education classes and the general ed classes that I was taking freshman year, I couldn't stand. They were just the most boring things I've ever done in my entire life. So for some reason, I daydreamed all the time during school anyways, but I just started daydreaming about video game ideas. I actually remember, after thinking about it, because I had to write it down for the website, it was Philosophy 101, I think, and my professor was like, how do we know the real world actually exists? And
okay.
I was just like, it just does, man. Like that was my head. And so the class was like arguing for the whole time. And that day I was like, okay, I've been daydreaming through all these classes. I gotta get a notebook. So I went and got a notebook and started writing down all of just my video game ideas, like during these elective classes. And so that's what gave me the idea. Then I switched majors to computer science. I got a very, very boring data analyst job out of college. And so I worked that for a few years, and then I wanted to make games eventually. So around 2018 is when I first started talking to Danny and Joe. I realized that daydreaming through your class is not a good idea because I really didn't know how to code that well. So first 2 years of us working together was me just kind of like not steadily using Danny and Joe every week or whatever. Just like when we would start to make progress, we would do it like, here and there. And then 2020, I finally had time to really learn how to code and learn how to, use Unity. And so that is when really the development of Race Jam started.
Okay.
So that's my journey to becoming a developer.
Joe, you were saying you do part of the coding as well, or this was?
Yeah. I when I first started working with Jeff, it was just coding. If I remember correctly, there was already quite a bit done off a series of these tutorials. So somebody who really should be on the credits for Race Jam is I can't remember his name anymore, but I believe it's like Jimmy Vegas or something like that. Jeff?
We should definitely put him in special thanks. Good call, Joe. I forgot about that.
A YouTuber who does Unity tutorials, and he had a series on racing games, and so that's how it started. That was the basis. But for me, before that, even always was really good with computers ever since I was a kid. Love to do little mods, especially the ones that were more accessible for strategy games, specifically for PC.
Yeah.
And then when I was around 21, 22, really started working with Unity and trying to learn it more of just as a hobby. And after that, started just kind of throwing my hat out there, applying for jobs, and started getting these little contracts for bug fixes and people who needed help with certain features in their games, and that's how it started.
So this just a tangent off. This is built with Unity, or the you said
Yep,
Unity
that's the
engine. It's really funny because another one of my favorite games is Unity. Escape
cool.
from Tarkov.
Oh, that's Unity.
Oh, Unity?
Escape
That
from
is
Tarkov
Unity.
is Unity.
Oh, I did not know
And
that.
everybody
Wow.
complains about it, but
That's
I think that's
crazy.
just more of a their game problem. But yeah, no, that's funny.
That's a funny connection right there. I didn't know that was Unity. That's great.
As I was starting to, or I already had been for a while, as a matter of fact, I made a couple of really small demos for a game that I called Asteroid Demolition Corps. It's just the cool little one was like a flight simulator sort of thing based off the old Star Wars Battlefront games when you could fly the fighters around Bespin, shoot everybody. Those were great. And then the other one was like a first-person shooter with driving mechanics and whatnot, and just kind of like demos with the idea that I want to make a game out of it eventually, but just to prove to myself that I can do it first. And once I got those out, just kind of just added them to the resume when I started applying for jobs, and was able to get some jobs. And I think I applied to it was also through Upwork of all places, but I'm pretty sure I applied to work on Race Jam, and Jeff saw the work I did with Astro Demolition Corps. He liked that, and been here ever since.
And Danny, I know definitely a big part of yours was the pixel art. Pixel art has always fascinated me, of seeing things literally go from real life to that. But yeah, tell us your story.
So I've been an artist since childhood, and I really wanted to get into game art since like Warhammer, their like some of their first games had like the night elf on the cover, and I was like, I really want to do this. And then I was like really big into like fantasy books and stuff too. So when I was applying to college, I was like describing to the person what I wanted to do because I had no idea. My parents were MIA my whole life, so it was like I just need someone to guide me. And then they put me into graphic design, which I did great in graphic design and everything. But for a long time, I was like, man, I want to work on games. I want to work on games. But I was doing a whole bunch of like advertising, like fashion illustration and like just a bunch of illustration stuff. And then finally Jeff contacted me through Upwork of all things in 2018 and was like, hey, I really like your portfolio. I have some characters I'd like illustrated. And it all started there really. So I like did the characters, which aren't really in the game now, but they're going to be coming later. And then from there, I was like, oh, I do graphic design too, and I know UI and UX pretty well from like doing a whole bunch of like websites and apps and stuff like that. So then I started doing the design for the game. And then like as we were going along, I was like, man, I'd like this to feel more retro. So then we added like the pixel font and everything because when it first started, it was super like 80s/90s, like the look and feel of it. And I really wanted to like bring it to like really feel like more than 90s. And like the pixel art to me is just so retro, but it's like retro in today's time. I don't know how to explain that properly. Like you can do so much good design with pixel art compared to like just trying to make everything look like I don't know, polished in 3D and everything. So
well, I think a lot of it has to do with the nostalgia factor. Everything is coming back around now. Like I remember just before COVID, Polaroid cameras and photos were making a comeback. So this kind of art, like I'm into it. And you mentioned Warhammer, and some of those pixel characters are very complex. So I'm excited if you're working on some things in the background we haven't seen yet as far as like full characters. That's cool.
But yeah, that's me.
And this was back, you said 2018 is when you guys, the three of you, like kind of came together?
2018 is when I found them on Upwork, yeah.
Okay. So
or contacted them on Upwork.
When did DiffGames come together? When did like how did you come up with the name and like, you know, when did that become official?
I would say 2020, because for those first 2 years I wasn't using Danny and Joe every week or whatever. I was, you know, contacting them, hey, I got an idea, let's do another character. Or with Joe, I would contact, hey, I finished another Jimmy Vegas demo. Let's see how we can make it connect to the game that we're building. So once we hit 2020, that's when we started like fully working on it. The name comes from it's kind of like the Apple Think Different campaign that they did back in the 90s, I believe. I just thought that was really cool, and I kind of, at least for me, the I'm always trying to like look at something and then not do exactly what somebody else is doing. So that's kind of always been just part of the way I think, I guess. So that's where just the think different. I'm always kind of trying to make a game, but like change the aspects so it's not like a direct copy and change stuff so that maybe it innovates a little bit. So that's where the DiffGames came from. And then, Danny made the logos. We made some other alternate logos that I had Danny make that I'm sure she's still shaking her head at the ideas that I came up with. But the ones that we made that Danny convinced me to use are the correct ones. So it's good.
Nice.
Good answer.
Very good answer. I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. On the side of like kind of the logos and the overall look, like even just the initial splash screen of the game, the title screen of the game there's so many, like just looking at that, there's all these little Easter eggs in there. It's just like it all references a memory. Like there's core memories in there, like for sure. When that popped up, go ahead, Scotty.
The music hit and the dopamine was just like, okay, I'm gonna play this for at least a couple hours. I don't care, just to listen to the music.
Yeah.
So let's actually dive into that. Actually, the music, the soundtrack. How did that come about? Like, what was the overall feel you guys were aiming for with that soundtrack?
Music has a direct influence from actually my time in education. So I was in education, I hated it. And I was always like, it got to the point where I did like a year, right? And so I would tell my parents, hey, I want to just switch to computer science. Well, you already did a year. Why don't you try to do another year? And so I did it, and I did it for 3 years. And then finally I was like, hey, guys, I just want to finish the computer science. Enough for this. But my parents were gracious enough to pay for my college. So I didn't want to argue too much with them about that. So finally I convinced them. And when I did, I made this CD of all these songs I was listening to, and I called it Freedom. And so that CD it was all these songs that were just upbeat and like about feeling good.
You know what you need? You need an upbeat, inspirational song about life.
So that kind of was the idea of just the music in general for Race Jam. Was I always wanted to make sure, just like when I made Freedom, that I wanted to have all the songs just like lift you up kind of as you're playing. This is our first game developed. So we had to, we don't have like contacts in the industry or anything. So we had to just find stuff that worked. Some of those songs are from a website called Audio Jungle that they offer that you can have and get a license for and put in your game. I have a friend who he makes beats. He's in the credits. His name's Danny Wynn. And he plays the saxophone and then makes beats as a producer. And so he made a bunch of beats. He made the pause music that's like supposed to be reminiscent of GoldenEye.
Yes. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That realization when I was streaming that game and I was just, it hit me. I was like, wait a minute. And then I realized the graphic on the screen. I was like, it's GoldenEye.
Like, that was the first beat he made for me. And I was just like, hey man, can you make something that's like sort of like GoldenEye? He made that. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe what you did. Yeah. And he made a bunch of others. He did probably the majority of the music. But that's where the music came from. Stuff that I could find that was a fair price that I could use and get the license for and put in the game. And then stuff that my friend Danny made.
It nails the feel. And I'll tell you what it made me feel like was like I just sat down in an arcade. Like I sat down at a racer. And then that, that when you're like, even though you're in a loud arcade, when you sit in some of those machines and you're just engulfed in the sound of that game, that's what it brought me back to, like playing things like Rush or playing the cruising games and all that stuff. That's where it brought me. I was like, man, they really like nailed this soundtrack. And like Scotty was saying, it locks you in and you just want to keep going because it just puts you in that good mood.
Actually, one of the reasons why the most recent update has the fixes of the audio, because when I was first setting this all up, I wanted to make sure that you guys heard the music. So that's why it was like a little too loud, probably 20% too loud, because I wanted to make sure I'm pumping in the energy to you. But don't worry, we fixed that. It's all
you definitely
all
did.
appropriate now. So
I was playing, and that was like we were saying earlier. You guys were so open to feedback and everything, and whenever I've ever, like, whether it's in a video or I'm just talking with people about a game, I'm always going to be just straightforward with it. I'm like, I'll tell you what I love, I'll tell you what I think needs a little work and everything. And then while I was doing that initial live stream with the game, we got to some moments where I was like, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, we're blowing out eardrums.
I watched that whole stream, and then I told Jeff, I was like, "Oh my god, we need to work on this. It's so bad." Like, you're not the only one.
It was the one. I'm so glad that you guys fixed it. Was the chase mode, because when I saw that, I was so excited about it. And then just we'll get into all like the references and stuff in the games, and everything, but the chase mode, I was like, this is where I'm gonna have a ton of fun. And once I realized that you can like basically attack the other vehicles, I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like, we got to change how we're playing altogether, because I have a new gameplay now. And that reminded me of like, new strategy. It reminded me of Burnout. I love the Burnout series, but you guys found like a really good balance with that too, because you couldn't just sit there and just keep attacking. Your car was also taking damage at the same time. So I love that you found this, like, yeah, you're going to have a ton of fun with it and go nuts, but be careful. You're going to want to repair. That reminded me of Pod Racer, of the Star Wars game and everything. Because I remember, like, you could blow out your engines in that game.
They're the same animation and everything. I'm sure there's some inspiration there.
Joe and I were putting our heads together because before we had released the game to the public to try out for any demos or anything, we were having our friends and family play it. And Joe mentioned that his family members were like, hey, can you do a boost? Can you do some sort of turbo? And I wanted to make the game. I think that's a lot of racing games, they kind of make the boosting, it's kind of just like there to just, it kind of makes the gameplay not that much fun, because you're just, you just boost to get into first place anytime you want. I wanted to have it like Cruising the World or Cruising Exotica, where there's just no boosting, you're just driving. But Joe mentioned that, and so we put our heads together and came up with, we can have boosts, but we want there to be a consequence, and not just, you can just boost whenever you want and get up to first place, and it's mindless almost. Thank goodness. I think they re-released Episode 1 Racer on the Switch.
Yes. Maybe
in 2020, and I bought it. I was like, oh, I haven't played since I was a kid, and then I bought it, I played it, and I was like, oh my God, that's what we should do. We should have a health system and have we didn't do it exactly like Episode 1 Racer. We changed it, but you can boost, but it costs you some health. And then also you're bumping each other. It actually adds another element of like combat racing to this. So it just kind of like.
So when you repair, that slows you down?
Mm-hmm.
Or is
it kind of like, you can't accelerate anymore.
So
you could theoretically kind of like just cruise.
I love that, because I found myself like every single time I'm going over a boost strip, I'm holding the repair. I'm like juicing every bit of HP I could, and like that mechanic alone, like the way you have that, keep that, is amazing. You're right. It makes boosting not boring and strategic. Mixed in with the damage your car can actually take. There were times where I'm up on the 3/4 half pipe upside down, like I boosted too much. And I was impressed by the car's like bubble, if you will, playing GTA and getting pit maneuvered and stuff like that, feeling the weight of the car. Like I felt it. It was cool.
Oh, you know which one of it? Speaking of like the different feels of the cars. So every car handles differently. And I love that, because it makes wanting to unlock the vehicles like a really cool thing. But I unlocked basically the Simpsons car. We unlocked Homer's car. And this thing, like, you feel the weight shift, and I'm trying to take the turns. I'm like, I'm gonna flip this thing, and I'm like, they're trying to gain the balance to it. But oh my god! But it made it so much fun because that's what's gonna bring people to find their favorite vehicle, just like finding a favorite character in maybe an adventure game or something like that. And when a racing game can give you that same feeling, that's pretty amazing, because there are countless racing games out there where it's just like, it doesn't matter what car you pick. It's the same game no matter what. So I was really happy to see it, because you guys have a hell of a lineup of vehicles in this thing. When it comes to the cars and really the overall design of the game, we were talking a little bit about it, where you find inspiration in these things. How did you guys come together as a team deciding on which inspirations to use, how you would go about utilizing it, and maybe the trickier side to it, deciding how close to that inspiration you can get, like, and making it work?
I guess I'll answer the second part of the question first, just because I have it on my mind. For the making them as close, we actually had them too close for sure, right before launch. Okay. And I forgot, like the Vengeance was just the Batmobile from the animated series. Danny really redesigned it, and then we have a 3D modeler, another person I found through Upwork, named Nathan. He's awesome, and he fixed it up. We also fixed up the Mondo Mobile. And then we have in the works right now the Mutz Cuts. What is it called? The limo. Okay. The limo we have changed quite a bit, but we're going to do a little extra just in case to make sure that we're far away enough. We haven't been contacted by anybody.
And like, it's so hard with copyright stuff because you want to have people recognize what it is, but you have to make it different enough at the same time. And like the general rule of thumb is to have things be like 15% different, because you can be inspired by something, but you can't directly copy something, right? Yeah. So we're kind of teetering on that line with a lot of things. But I think we've done enough to change everything. I'll look at comments from a bunch of people's stuff, like on Reddit, YouTube, when people are streaming our game and stuff, being like, how did they get away with this? You know what I mean? It's like, well, no one, for example, like the Hedgehog Hills, like the best track in my opinion.
I love that.
And it's
track.
like, well, no one has any like copyright rights to basically checkered brown and tan. You know what I mean? No one has copyrights to palm trees, like there's no Sonic in there, and even with the GoldenEye screen, it's like, well, how did they get away with that? It's a watch face, like, and it, like the colors are different and stuff. So it's really just teetering on that line of like, hey, it needs to be recognizable, but it can't be one-to-one,
I think it was the pink car that, when I saw the bent antenna, I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? And then I finally went because I went through that entire list first, and then it kept going. I was like, there's so many cars to unlock. Like, it gives you something to work towards, and I feel like that's something that a lot of games today are missing, because everything you're not unlocking anything anymore. You're buying DLC. I'd rather earn the thing, like, in there. Like, that's why I love, and we'll talk about, kind of the different modes in the game. You give the players that opportunity to enjoy the game, put the work in, and get the reward. I'll tell you, when I was doing the one of the chase modes, and then all of a sudden you get the pop-up, the alert that's like Vengeance is like coming after you. I'm like, Vengeance is coming after me. And I popped in the rear view, and I'm like, oh my god, like the Dark Knight is here. Like, it's just like, and then I was just like in panic mode, like, I gotta go fast, but I gotta heal. It's just, it opens up this whole other level to it. I have to ask, did that track and the bedroom track with like the Hot Wheels tracks, did you guys recently expand those? Did you add to them?
So that was because of the physics update. They had to change how things like turn and stuff. So they're not added to, but they're different. Yeah.
The track just kind of adjusted.
Visual.
For Hedgehog Hills, and for a bunch of them, we had our demo become available during Steam Next Fest, which was in May, or maybe it was June. I think it was June. And we got a ton of feedback. But one of the things that people said that they would like to see is just to increase the sense of speed. So we went through and we buffed all the acceleration and we buffed all the top speeds by what they were. We just buffed them by 30 miles per hour. And so it made the game super fast, super fun, except the tracks were now you're coming into turns way too fast to really like take it without slowing down. And we didn't want to turn it into Gran Turismo. So we had to, with Hedgehog Hills, I had to resize it, I think 15-20%.
That's what it had to have been then, because there was a noticeable change. Because I had been playing all these tracks, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, am I in a different mode? I'm like, I don't know what I just found. So I'm like seeing what was going on. Actually got a question in chat for you guys about one of the cars. What is the cop car a reference to, if anything? It's definitely a 90s style police car.
Chase mode, the cops who chase you, that's references to like Murtaugh and Riggs are from Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
McClane, that's Die Hard. Oh, we have Winslow, that's Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Joe, do you remember anything about the cop car specifically though? Is that a reference to anything?
I remember we wanted a like older style cop car.
Like you have the Dare logo on there, which was what a beautiful little reference in there. Like I anyone my age remembers Dare, like back in school. So that's what I was kind of thinking. Maybe it was just like a 90s style police cruiser.
Listen, so a future unlockable vehicle should be the Dare Corvette, though. You need the Corvette cop car, all blacked out with Dare on the side.
I got to write that down. That's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
So with Nathan, when I send him, we would find these models online, and then, we want to change them so that they're our own things, not something we just got. So we would find them, and then I'd have Nathan make alterations to them. And a lot of times when there's like a logo, I'm just like, hey man, can you make the logos not something? And that's him. He made the Dare logo.
I just want to throw a thank you out to Skeptic Tank out there. Thank you so much for picking up Race Jam. Greatly appreciate it. Everybody, in case you missed it, we do have the link to Race Jam in the pinned comment. We'll take you right to Steam. The game is in early access. We're talking with DiffGames, the development team of Race Jam, this insanely nostalgic 90s style arcade racer that I have absolutely fallen in love with. That's who these amazing people up here are, and we're getting into the depths of the behind the scenes of the game and everything that is bringing it to all of us. So thank you all for checking out the game. If you haven't yet, please click that link at the top. Check it out. There's a demo on there. There's footage. There's my prior live stream. And these guys are available on social media as well, here on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all the places. So you can find video clips of everything they're talking about on the game as well. You guys also have the Discord as well, so you guys can definitely join them in there. But yes, that's what we're doing here today. We're talking all things Race Jam with DiffGames. What was behind deciding on landing on the 90s? Like you mentioned earlier, I think we were talking backstage where it was potentially going to be the 80s for a little bit, but you guys landed in the 90s. What brought it there?
The original idea for Race Jam was something that I wrote down in one of those notebooks in college, was just a new age cruising the world, because I love cruising the world. I think with Mario 64 and Cruising the World were the two games I got like for Christmas that year. I always thought it would be cool. The original idea was that there's the Capitol building, you're going to drive up to it, then you're going to like crash through a window and drive through. We switched off that idea just because, while it would have been cool to drive through it, I guess I just like, you would really want a AAA like big budget game to make like a really beautiful model of the Capitol building and drive through it and stuff. So that was kind of the difference, is that I was like, I don't think we want to do this. So then I started just thinking of ideas for just how to add personality to games. So the three of us have talked a bunch of times about how racing games, they tend to be, they're just car centric, and they have kind of like a, not necessarily a personality, but they do have a personality, but it's like kind of the same throughout all of them. They don't have anything kind of unique. The 90s, I'm not exactly sure where we came up with the 90s exactly, but it just kind of like, it hit me one day where it's like, we should do it kind of like, almost like Smash Brothers, but make all the stages and just use 90s as the theme instead of, Nintendo or something. So that's where the idea kind of came from.
He's saying like to give it personality, like each one of these tracks has personality. It's practically each track is a character in the game. And I find myself, there's been plenty of times I didn't even care about winning the race. I slowed down and I'm like turning and I'm looking at everything that's around me. We got the areas with the dinosaurs. We've got the play set that we're running through. That's like, I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm in Toy Story or something. Like, it's just like, there's so much to just pull in there. And I'll keep saying it pulls on those nostalgia strings. Like, it just makes you enjoy every minute you're playing it. And I think 90s is a great decade for anything like this. I mean, the color scheme of it and just the music and everything in general.
I actually just remembered while we're talking, the reason it's 90s is because all of those games that when the racing games were great. So I was frustrated with, at the time, it seems like, even still now, most arcade racing games, they keep putting in this open world stuff. And for me, this is, if you like open world games, no disrespect or anything, but for me, for racing games, like I just want to race. I don't want to drive to the race and do like some silly task. It drove me nuts. So that's why I actually picked, because I had a notebook of ideas. That was why I picked a racing game, because I was actually like, come on guys, let's stop with the commute to work here just to get to a race. Yeah. So I wanted to make a game that was like the 90s ones on the N64, like Rush and Cruisin' and Ridge Racer. And so that's where I was like, well, let's set it in the decade when racing games were like amazing.
Got a question from chat for you. Any plans on online multiplayer at some point? So I know this is a portion that's in development there. What are you guys working on as far as bringing players together in Race Jam?
Yeah, we're currently working or starting to work on, just within the last couple of weeks, the multiplayer part. It's a little bit daunting. It turns out to be quite a bit that needs to be done, but we've already played around with systems before, and so we kind of have a general idea of what we need to do. But the idea is just quick races, private games, tons and tons of rankings and stats and whatnot. The general idea that Jeff and I have talked about is that as you're playing and as you're racing, even if you don't win, you probably did something really cool throughout the race anyway, and you're going to get credit for that. You'll get your stats for that or your XP for that kind of stuff. So trying to find a way to connect all of the mechanics we currently have into multiplayer without breaking everything has been a pretty fun process so far.
I can imagine that being like incredibly challenging. Like kind of a little bit of I guess a spin-off of that. Like, what have you guys found to be some of the biggest challenges in getting this all to function?
Towards the start, it was just me and Joe and Danny just collectively, since the first game, figuring out how to do anything. That was really the thing that was driving us crazy was, okay, I'm gonna set it up so that we have an animation in the menu. I hope this works. Oh gosh, okay, it does work. So that's where we were.
The three of you together testing, racing together the whole time. Just I can imagine the three of you in a room together racing, trying to figure this all out.
But for Race Jam specifically, like now that we know what we're doing, I would say the UI, getting that correct, has been the biggest challenge. And that's because just Unity has great things like pre-built for almost all aspects. You know, you want to have set up a car. They have already built a car controller that you can use as a model to set up your own and compare and contrast. For the UI stuff, they don't really have that much. We had to go through and set it up, and we have to set it up so that it works for keyboard, it works for controller, it works for the mouse pointer, and getting all that in sync is been a challenge. I don't know if Danny, if you wanted to talk about just getting the UI correct.
Okay. The big thing was we really designed it more with console players in mind, and I think we also had more of like, I play a lot of cozy games, right? So like I would have like, okay, we need to like indicate where these things are, but also make them clickable and stuff. And then we saw that like, okay, racing people don't like that. They like to just have like a little thing on the bottom that tells them what to do. And then we had to redo everything. And like, there's still elements that I want to redo UI wise. Like for example, on the splash screen, when you like open up Race Jam, like I want to like rework how everything looks there. I love my animations that I've done. I love my illustrations that I've done, but just like UI wise, it's a little funky. And then like when you're starting to enter a race, I hate the big old buttons that are either on either side or like in the middle, and you have no idea which one you're on. So like there's a lot of things that like when you're designing, you're like, oh, this looks dope. And like then you're playing and you're like, oh, it doesn't work, you know? Like, gosh darn it. And there's when I first started doing like the UI for everything, it was crazy. Because like I've designed apps and websites, right? So I was super like web based, and I was like, okay, now I have to tackle something. Like I play games all the time and stuff, but I like never really did any racing games, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, how do I make this make sense and stuff? And the first time it was just like there were huge buttons everywhere and stuff. And then I told Jeff, I was like, I need to redo this all. And he was amazing and was like, okay, just go for it. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Because it was bad. It was bad. Jeff will never let me say it was bad, but it was bad. Like I want to do a before and after. I want to do like a before and after.
Work was great too.
No, it was awful. It was awful. And it wasn't awful in the fact that it was like, it didn't look good. It was awful in the fact that the UX wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like the user experience was not what it needed to be. And it's just like a learning process, you know, going through everything and like taking feedback from people. Like that was a huge thing. Next Fest really helped us. Because like before Next Fest, I redid all of the UI anyways. Because like I was playing, I was like, this is atrocious. And then Next Fest happened. They're like, it's still not good. And I'm like, God, they're right, you know? So I'm like, oh, I can do this. I have the skills, you know? Like, but yeah, it's fun. I love challenges and stuff. So it's really, I love hearing from people and like making something better and like pushing the limits of what I thought I could do, you know?
Having that challenge aspect to it, it pushes you to want to make things better. And I think a lot of us, like you'll strive for some level of just, for lack of a better term, a level of perfection that we know we're never reaching perfection with anything. But there's so much stuff I've done, you know, with anything creative I've ever done, whether it's been art or doing a video or whatever it may be, where I'm like, I'm my biggest critic. And it's just like, I look at something and people are like, that's great. And I'm like, it's crap.
Yeah.
I think in the early stages here too, UI is something too that can evolve. Like again,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to repolish this a bunch of times. I like it where it's at. I think if I was just giving my like initial feedback, and I play on a bigger monitor, so I felt I'm looking back and forth between the two things, trying to balance the two if it was a little more condensed. But that's just like, I think where you guys are going to have a hard time is people that find the game and want to be a competitive racer and want that, like the gauntlet is kind of where I'm at. And I didn't even do the chase stuff yet. So the competitive gamers that come in and want that challenge, but also the people that want to come in here for that nostalgia and the music keeps them around and they just want to race. You know what I mean? So finding that good balance,
a sweet
there.
spot. Yeah. It's definitely something that's super interesting and fun to do, is find the sweet spot. And like you said, it's always evolving and stuff. And I think that's another thing, is that like one day we only have like 11 races in the first tower of the gauntlet, for example, and then all of a sudden, okay, no, now we have 14. And I'm like, well, now I have to rethink this whole thing, you know. And like, I love that, though. I'm not complaining whatsoever. I love like going through and being like, okay, I can make it better because I have to redo it, so I'm going to do it better, you know.
Let me ask you guys this, kind of a sort of a segue into one of the questions I had on the list, kind of on the reference that Scotty was talking about playing on a larger screen, a larger monitor. Are there any plans to eventually port this game? Would you like to have a home console port and have people be able to play on like their television?
I personally am almost exclusively play games on a console. So that's why Joe and Danny have been great of explaining to me, no, you gotta do this, because the PC community like enjoys or has different resolutions and stuff. That's stuff where I wasn't experienced enough, so I had to learn about all that stuff. So absolutely, we want to bring it to console. That's the goal. Is we
couch co-op?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I had we did a stream with my buddies. I was like, hey guys, okay, yeah, we're gonna play, and we're gonna play on my laptop, and they were like, they lost their minds. They were like, what are you doing? There's no way we're gonna play this. It's connected to the TV. And I was like, there's gonna be a little bit of lag because connecting to a TV from a laptop can be a little funky.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what you're talking about. It'll be fine. Like, so just to satisfy my friends, I'm gonna make sure that we put it on console. Yeah, once we get to 1.0 and get the online multiplayer set up for Steam, next step is console for sure. I just the whole time I've just been like, when we're making it, I'm just like, I hope somebody, people care and like want to play it, but I have no expectations. That's also why we've been, I think the three of us are so open to feedback, is we're just happy people are playing it. So that's, if you want to say something to make it better, like, sure, we'll listen, of course.
Yeah,
so.
We'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, listen. I'm going to show you my gameplay eventually, but I need that drift car. I need to drift a car that if you're good with drifting, you can win races. Doesn't have to be a fast car. Okay, I need that. So I want to show you, I don't know how we're going to be able to boomer this, but I'm playing the game and I'm trying to drift the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my mind, these drift guys are like drift the whole time, and then he's like boosting on the little straightaways and drift again. Like, yeah, I was trying hard to abuse the drift. That I feel like I couldn't abuse the drift. So maybe that's good. Maybe that's what you're going for. But having a car I could unlock where, like,
this is why I'm so glad you came on, Scotty, because you're one of those guys that, like, and I love this, is like you will push the game you're playing. Like, you get a game, this with like any type of game, not just racing. It's like he'll get a shooter or whatever it is, and he's like, I'm gonna break this.
Yeah. I love gamers that can like take a mechanic. It's not like a meta mechanic, but there's a skill gap based on how good you are at like a particular build, I guess, of a driver or a car. It's similar to like the differences in any Mario Kart game, but someone who's a skill driver being able to win without the best stuff, I guess.
Did you try the Tuna Extreme car?
I didn't get to unlock a lot of cars. I'm gonna play more though.
So that one's really good for drift. I'm a big drifter too. Ever since I figured out how that worked, I was like, I drift everywhere all the time, and I drift to the point where like I'm drifting, okay, I'm healing, and then I'm like, okay, boost, and then I'm drifting and healing, and then boost, and like Tuna Extreme's pretty darn good for that, in my opinion.
Sounds like a drift car too, tuner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
that car was designed to be a little bit better on the drift specifically. Yeah. So I can't remember
enough, clearly.
Yeah, Joe, you got to remind me we kept that in, or if I eventually was like, no, that doesn't work, and I took it out like a couple months ago or something.
No, it's still probably the best car to do drifts in. I think,
nice.
Yeah, the VIP sort of is okay, and then the Lotus, but I'm biased for the Lotus at least. That's my favorite car of all time. So that's the best car in the game,
cool.
guys.
That's cool.
Insider tip, everybody.
Yeah.
The Lotus is overpowered. You got to blame Joe because he
built it.
He was.
Wonder why that one's so good.
He wanted to control the stats of the Lotus. So
Joe's always winning. I don't know why. That's fantastic. I love that. That's kind of going back to it. We were talking earlier that how every car feels different. It's such a big thing with racing games. If you can make it feel like everyone's having their own personal experience with it, that goes a long way. Because again, like games today, they don't really do that. And like you said, you could be doing a whole bunch of not even winning the race, and you're still getting all that XP. I was a bunch of races I didn't win, but I'm watching this stuff unlock and I'm getting everything going, and I like the adventure mode and going through that, and with the different challenges and everything. The gauntlet mode is cool, having the MK style towers. Anybody who's about to try this game for the first time, like I'm telling you, every screen you go to, you're gonna have a memory that's gonna hit you. You're gonna be like, oh, that is great. Even just the posters for each mode, like the one that looked like Speed and Face Off, the Face Off one. That I think that might be my favorite, because that's a movie I don't think that gets enough love, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh yes. Such a good one.
I had so much fun illustrating those posters, because I was just like, I would put our characters in and just be like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I'd be like, good job,
I gotta ask about this one character in it, but I'm like 99.9% positive of the inspiration. The dog. Is that Pork Chop?
Cliff.
Oh, it's Cliff?
That's the inspiration.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I saw it and I was like, and I'm here in my head, I'm like, do.
Honestly, I forgot until you just mentioned it. But yes, we wanted to make a Sonic-like character. And so Danny and I were coming up with something. And then I just found Pork Chop and was like, actually, like that's kind of, we make like a Pork Chops
Sonic
hybrid.
Yeah. That's why the eyes are like kind of connected and stuff, and he's got a big old smirk, but he's got like Pork Chop like proportions and stuff. And we couldn't make him blue, obviously.
Oh yeah. You gotta make the things different. But I love that reference in there. That was so cool.
The characters we're gonna bring back. The characters we had in the game. This was one of the UI adjustments, actually. It's really why the characters aren't in right now. We had a bunch of... we had people picking their character, then their car, then their perks every time, and it was a little tedious to do it multiple times for multiple races. So we set up the race kits to be like a loadout, like Call of Duty. We still had the characters, but people were kind of like, well, the characters don't affect the gameplay at all. So what is the point of us choosing them is the feedback we got. So we took them out for right now, and we're going to have a gameplay element for them so that they affect, maybe your stats. We haven't really decided that yet. And then we're going to bring them back.
Just out of the blue, maybe even having like one character drifts better to go off of...
Yeah, we could. Yeah, absolutely.
He may or may not be bald.
Right?
Just saying, chat was kind of going off on the tangent, but like with the drift car, maybe the drift car leans into that franchise a little. You get close to the edge. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Before we get into the last couple questions, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, guys, and everything. But did you want to? You mentioned you had a little bit of gameplay footage. You want to share anything here on the screen that people could take a look at? So just to anybody who may not have looked at it on Steam yet at all, you guys can get a kind of an idea.
This is perfect.
Yeah, this excellent. Yeah, these posters, that's what I was talking about there.
Yeah, I can actually go back to.
So while we're doing this too, gauntlet mode. These are races you have to complete all of them like it's Mortal Kombat, and if you stop, you lose your progression.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
it's
insane.
Yeah, it's like, so it's Mortal Kombat, and then it's like the roguelike genre that's become super popular recently.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to put in a roguelike kind of mode or element to it, and so this mode is like a mirroring of those two things, of where you're trying to get to the top of the tower and fight the boss, and then also like you're unlocking every turn, you're getting either a perk or a car part to make it so that it's easier.
And so with the perks, you get 3. Is that what I saw? There were
Normally in this mode you get however many you unlock.
So after you fill the rows, it just keeps going. You just as you get the perks, you stack them up.
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and you don't. So for this mode, you don't start with any. So normally you would get your whatever your 3 you pick are. And in this mode, you start at 0, and if you just, each level you climb up, you gain another one. So,
yeah, I liked that. I did a couple of tiers on that. It was fun. I was also learning the game at the same time, though. So,
yeah, a little bit of a learning curve at the start, like any other game. We could see that if chat, you're seeing that little like bubble forming on some of these cars. That's that healing mode in there. Oh my god, I was playing this track with the pink car, the Homer car. And,
I love the attempt on the trick right there.
I was just like, I hit this median, and then that's when I realized the weight of the car was really impacting the movement, and I was like, oh, I gotta be really careful. And then
there's that animation.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
so perfect.
Yeah.
But this like,
you notice that because that's an aspect. I wanted to make each car feel unique. And that's one of the things where I was like, well, it's Homer Simpson's car. Maybe we make the suspension a little more bouncy and a little goofier just because it's like, it kind of fits. I didn't know if anybody would notice that, so I'm glad you noticed.
Oh, I noticed it when I hit that median. I was like, oh, I'm losing control. Like, oh boy, here we go. And then when I was on the Green Hill inspired track, and then you get into some of those turns that you guys actually adapted a bit, and you're coming up on where you're really like working your way up the wall, I was like, I'm gonna flip this thing, and then I did a couple of times. But the good thing is you guys gave us the opportunity. You can reset the car and get back into the action, and you can see like the XP gaining for different tricks if you catch air. Definitely some of the tracks where you could do the jumps and then literally like you could spin the car around and do flips. And I keep trying to find like how close can I get this flip, like how close to the ground can I land this thing. And it's fun because
with the unlocks. Sorry, with the unlocks and the experience, are we just unlocking vehicles or are we unlocking tracks?
Modern Warfare 2 should call me. Well, Activision should call us and be like, "Yo, you stole the unlock system from Modern Warfare 2 because it is exactly almost to the T the same." So you unlock characters, which we got to replace right now because they're not in the game. But you unlock characters, cars, and perks, almost in the same fashion that you would in Modern Warfare 2, where you unlock like a weapon, then you unlock a perk, and then I can't remember what the third thing is that you unlock. Okay. But almost the exact same.
Also, car parts and wheels and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like stuff that makes your car have better stats according to like how you want to play.
So the car parts are unlocked in a different way. They all have like a little challenge on them. So they're Modern Warfare 2. So like how you would have
like
the
feats or whatever.
Yeah, you would have the perks, and you could unlock a pro version of the perk if you did enough, revive somebody 300 times or something. So we have that for the perks, and then for the car parts, the same thing. You have like you unlock the bumper, use that while healing for 2,000 health. I can't remember a specific example, and you unlock the next Car Park.
Man, I didn't even do first person like hood view. Oh, that was crazy.
Oh wait, Scotty, wait until you start editing your race kit. Like I already have 3 going, so it's just like
nice.
You're gonna find your favorites.
Yeah, that's cool. The On Fire? What is this?
Oh, you haven't done On Fire?
Guys,
okay.
I need to play
I'm going to
more.
leave that playing right there then. The On Fire mode, it's 3 different levels, right? Of fire. Mm-hmm. So one of them, from what I could tell, was, I know it tells you on one of the screens, you're mostly, it's like you're constantly boosting practically, but there's another one where it's like you're not invincible. So are you invincible?
That was like a perk then. That was
it's a perk. Yep.
Okay.
So it was like, On Fire is a meter that you can. It's almost
right here.
It's inspired by like a fighting game, like how you get a meter. You can do your meter moves from like Street Fighter. You can do a level 1, a level 2, a level 3 as you build the meter. So On Fire, you build the meter to level 1. It will your top speed goes up, your acceleration goes up, and your health automatically refills. Then if you want to save it and get up to Red Fire level 2, then also you will do damage if you touch anybody. Like you're on fire, like you're burning hot. And then if you get up to level 3, you become invincible for the whole time that you have the fire. So it was just
that's crazy.
The idea of all this stuff is I wanted to. Racing games are usually you're just racing and boosting, and that's it. And I kind of just the inspiration for this kind of came from Smash Brothers, where Smash Brothers very easy to pick up and play, and just you can just engage with it, doing just the B button moves if you want or whatever. But Smash Brothers has all these other mechanics that like you wouldn't know, that like you can fall to the ground faster, you can do combos. There's a complicated system where if you land on the ground, you can either choose to roll this way, roll that way, or get up in place. So it's like there's all these extra elements that you can do, but you don't have to. So that's kind of like what was the idea for a lot of these elements in Race Jam, was we just wanted to add stuff that you don't have to use the On Fire meter, for example, but it's there to make the gameplay a little bit more complex.
Yeah, I love that. Very accessible to players of every level. You could just play just a comfortable whatever, I'm going to play for 10-15 minutes, do a few races and be done, or you can get real competitive with it and you could really dive into it. It's a lot of fun. I just wanted to kind of get you guys' take on what you're looking forward to as we head into 2026. What are your hopes and plans for not only Race Jam, but do you have any other types of games in mind that you would like to start developing, or maybe different genres, anything like that? What are you guys looking forward to as we head into the new year?
Definitely, the first goal of DiffGames is to make Danny. Right now, Danny and Joe are not full-time members of the team yet, and that is 100% the priority. Is we get enough sales, both of them are going to become a part of the team, and the 3 of us will be working on games together. So that's the number 1 priority moving forward for 2026. Also, just getting the online multiplayer set up. So we're at 1.0, and then going to the console releases. Those are our key goals. We have a roadmap set up, so we're hoping to get the online multiplayer done December, January range. Joe and I are still figuring out how complicated that is. Yes. So that's our goal, but no promises. We can't say we will do that, but that's our goal. And then we want to add more tracks, definitely, to the game, and I can't remember what else is on. Oh, and the characters back in. So those are definitely the goals. The next stuff we want to work on for like the next game, we're definitely open to working on another Race Jam for sure. We've had ideas. Okay. We've talked about Danny and Joe will attest that I've been too superstitious, that I almost always say, like, if we get to make another game, just to make sure we don't jinx it. But when we get to make another game, I have another 2 ideas that I really like, that I haven't talked to Danny or Joe about them yet because, we've been trying just to get Race Jam focused. But I have 2 great ideas, and I don't want to say what they are yet, but I will say we're going to keep trying to serve like an underrepresented genre or style of game, like how arcade racers, where you don't have to drive between the races. These 2 ideas that I have are the same of like, hey, why isn't there this freaking game made anymore? That's definitely for both of those ideas. So
this is I've loved this. I'm so happy for everything you guys got going on so far. I think you guys deserve so much success with this. There's clearly just so much passion for the world of gaming, with you guys here, and everything you add to this, and the things you're not only bringing into the game, but just bringing back to the gaming community. The things, like you said, that aren't in games anymore, and why wasn't this made today? Like, how are we staying away from all of these elements from these video games? And it's just, I mentioned very early in the stream how I feel like we're kind of in a place now where the retro gaming style is starting to make a comeback. Like I mentioned in a recent video, that it blows my mind that we're about to get a Terminator 2 side-scrolling shooter game. Like, it's about to launch, and I can't wait. It's like one of my most anticipated games. And I'm sitting here with, like, a PS5 and a PC that can play like all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't wait for this 16-bit game where I'm gonna run around as Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever. Like, it's just like, it blows my mind that that's the case now. But I am so happy to see games like this be developed, be out there for not just private gaming, but public consumption. It's out there on Steam, one of the biggest platforms out there that everyone knows it. And I'm gonna say it is. I think Race Jam right now is a hidden gem, and it deserves to get all the light on it and let this thing shine, because you're putting the work in. You're listening to the players, you're working on it based on feedback, you're putting in the things that you love and having it represent you as the developers, and it really does come through. So I applaud you. This is fantastic. I think Race Jam is going to be a hit.
Yeah, and
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Matt is gushing over here right now about the nostalgia and the retro, and I love streaming with Matt because he's a very positive guy, and I think that this game is kind of perfect for me and him to be here, because the reason that I came here to talk to you about the game was all of the roguelike elements and the perks, and every single tier I get a choice now between an upgrade I want to take into the next tier. Both Matt Cave and my community have watched us play another game that maybe you've heard of called Mega Bonk. I don't know if you guys have heard of Mega Bonk. This game was one guy developed this game, and it sold like millions of copies. So nothing is out of the scope of like possibility here. And I think like with leaning into some of that stuff, it makes the game more competitive. It makes this is a crazy idea, but I would like to see a game mode where that race just never stops, and I'm just getting the perk. Maybe like it speeds up to a certain point where it becomes impossible for me to continue on, similar to like what Mega Bonk does in a little bit of their stuff.
Like a ramp up in
a gauntlet mode that just doesn't end, because I'm telling you, people will sit there and play that for hours.
Oh my god, yeah.
Just a race that doesn't end, and I'm getting more perks, and the enemies are getting harder. Like, I don't know. I got that feeling with the pixel art and the racing and the perks, and it's just.
You know what that's going to do to me, Scotty, though? Because I'm going to panic. I'm going to be like, where's the finish line?
Yeah. But then, so that's the thing. Like, sometimes you're just not hitting the finish line. But I'm into the perks and that aspect of it. I'm excited to see what you guys do. I think just this is just me, just a gamer. I think it's important that if there's elements of the game missing, get them back in. Get the characters back in, whether like The character adds a little strength armor to your car, adds a little agility. I like that idea. Go with it. Get the art back in there. Present a complete thing. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad that you guys could be here for this tonight. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to
Did we miss
add
anything?
in? Did we miss anything? Is there anything you want to let everybody know right before they go click to buy the game? Everybody, let's go.
Other than buy the game, buy the game, buy the game.
It's a good game.
Definitely, if you feel if you want to, please go and buy the game or wishlist it. It definitely helps us. If you do feel compelled, please leave us a review too, because that's actually what helps us with Steam's algorithm. They kind of sort the games and are more likely to recommend games to other people in the you'll like this because you like this, if based on how many reviews a game has. So that definitely helps us. Also, if you want to join our Discord, we're always talking and listening about suggestions about the game and stuff. So feel free to join and become a part of the game, essentially.
And I got one more thing from the chat here, guys. We got a super chat coming in from our friend, the Star Wars Obsession, coming in for you guys, to the developers. Thank you so much for joining the Mac Cave for this amazing stream. Your game looks so fun and creative. Makes me almost wish I had a PC. Almost. Are you for hire? Just kidding, but really. Thank you, Obsession, dude. I appreciate it, man. I am thrilled that we could take a deeper look into this game with everybody, and I'm so glad so many people could join us in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your questions and everything and all your comments. Joe, Danny, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I am absolutely thrilled that you were all able to make this. And Scotty, thank you so much for co-hosting tonight. I greatly appreciate it. You keep me on.
We got to do this again. We got to do this again. This group.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Months down the road.
This was so much fun. Thank you both. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Well, I'm going to end it the way I normally end it, and I'm going to say to everybody, remember, keep retro gaming alive, because one day your games will be retro too. Guys, we're going to play the outro. I'm going to go hang out with them backstage in a little bit after it. So I'll see you all in just a minute. Everybody else, have a great night. Thank you so much for watching that video. Be sure to click that like button and stick around for more content like this right here.